Good morning. This is Karen at newclevelandradio.net, and today I have Shelley Thomas with me. And Shelley, from what I understand, you've been working real hard on a new release that's coming out at the end of this month.
That is correct. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So, what made you get into this crazy world of music?
Music in general?
Sure.
Go
ahead.
I grew up with an artistic family and a mother who's a pianist, and I always loved music since I was a kid and always knew that I would be a singer since I was little. And I went to Cal Arts for college and got into world music there, and that's kind of how my journey started with various styles.
So, with Mom being a pianist, did that give you the chance to sit around on the weekends and have family sing-alongs?
Yeah, she was involved in the church, and we definitely sang in that context. My older sister loved to sing too, and I would listen to her playing classical music and jazz like Beethoven, Chopin, Rodgers and Hammerstein when I was falling asleep at night or waking up.
Got it. So, we all know that the music world is a tough world. There's a lot of people out there who have talent and a lot of people who think they have talent that don't. So, what makes you stand out from the rest? Do you have any idea?
Well, that's a difficult question for any artist to answer because part of what makes an artist to me is humility, to be able to take the calling that you feel is inside of you and listen to the vision that you're given, whether it's to create a film, to write a book, to write a song or a symphony, and to just give honor to the work and be able to express it through you and not really make it about you.
And I love that answer because I've been working with musicians now for about 5 years doing these types of podcasts. And I would say 99% of everyone that I've talked to, has that same humility behind them. And I think that's what makes your work even so much better because you're always striving to be better at what you do or what you think you can do.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about this new release that will be coming out on August 28th.
Sure. So it's called Mirror. It's my second single with a 10-piece microtonal symphonic ensemble. I have a string quartet, oud, qanun, upright bass, drum set, percussion, and a microtonal synth/pianist. And my first single was called Cancer Moon. I released earlier this year. So basically, it's a new genre called world chamber pop that I'm creating. That's a synthesis of all the styles of world music I've studied over the last 15 or so years, including classical, Balkan music, Arabic music, Hindustani music, pop, soul, and African music. So in the lyrical content, I often use poetry about psychology, spirituality, duality, and kind of want to take the listener on a transcendent journey to be able to access their emotions and get in touch with themselves to experience a cathartic movement forward.
So when you start working on a new single, are you one of those types of artists that sits down, you have this thought in your head and you can put it together in a very short period of time, or is it something that just grows within you?
That's a great question about the artistic process. Actually, my favorite book is The Artist Way by Julia Cameron, and I'm currently working through her second book called Walking in This World, second book in that series. But she talks a lot about the artistic process and how it can't be rushed, and how, you know, we live in a consumer culture that wants us to deliver a product, but we're really dropping into a well of infinite creativity that we're serving when we're creating art. So often I'll have little pieces of songs come to me, like a little piece of a melody that I'll record in a voice memo, and then a year or two later, like, realize what song it goes to. Sometimes when I'm falling asleep at night, I'll have a song coming to me and I'll have to get up and go to my computer, open Sibelius, the music notation software, and start writing it out. Sometimes almost the full song comes out quickly within a few hours, and then it'll take a while to finish it and put the finishing touches.
Sure.
But it's really bringing it down from the idea realm into the physical manifestation. That's the most challenging part, because I have to raise the money. You know, I'm an independent artist. I don't have a record label. I self-produce everything, and I have to gather the musicians, pay the musicians, find the studio, etc. And that's the part that that takes longer in the artistic process. But as long as I hold the vision clear in my mind, I just follow the next step ahead.
Oh, terrific. And it's something that our listeners don't always understand, you know, what it really takes for an artist to put this all together. You know, back in the 50s and 60s, you know, if somebody heard you performing and they thought, hey, this is the sound that I would like, they would take you under contract. And when you were under contract, you know, they told you how many songs you were going to produce a year or within that certain amount of time. And yes, they fronted the money. However, you ended up paying that money back, you know, based on, you know, the recordings and, you know, who bought them. And back in the 50s and 60s, you know, people went out and bought real, you know, vinyl records, whether it's a 45 or not. But times have changed. And I think it's important for our listeners to understand that you are taking your passion and you're investing in it, your time, your money, and the investment of other artists to work with you. So we encourage people, if you like Shelley's music or another artist's music, you know, spend the money on it, because this is the only way we're going to have talent continuing to share, you know, their passion with us. So I hope our listeners are getting that, because it's not an easy road. Like you said, you may be falling asleep at night and think of, hey, this has just come to me. And you could then wake up, go spend hours on your computer, but it doesn't mean that it's done at that point. It's just in the beginning stages, correct? So do you get a chance to get out and perform your music much at all?
Well, now with COVID, no, I haven't been. But before, I performed regularly, yes. And I used to work with a lot of different ensembles of various world music, a cappella trios or orchestras and different groups. And then I branched off with my own music, which is a new project. That's why this is my second single. So I'm looking forward very much to being able to hit the stage again with these musicians.
Well, and COVID has hit us all pretty hard, but especially, you know, performers like yourself, because you are sort of dependent on letting people see you perform and hear you perform in person. And around the country, there are very few places that are still doing live entertainment. And if they are, they're doing it for very, very small groups of people. And so it's going to take a while. But where can people find your music at the present time?
Absolutely. So we do still have access to the digital world, which is a blessing. And my website is www.shelleyvoice.com, Shelley with an EY. And they can also follow me on Facebook at Shelley Thomas Music. And I'm actually running a fundraiser right now for the next recording. So if they like these songs and they want to contribute as little as $1 or $2 to my fundraiser, that can be found on my Facebook page, Shelley Thomas Music. And then I'm on Instagram at Shelley Voice.
So another thing that our listeners maybe don't understand, and I think it's a great thing that is happening, are these fundraisers. And you have to realize that every dollar counts. So if that's all you have, spend the dollar, because that means that Shelley's music will be up and available, in the near future. And if you don't support it, well, then it makes it a tougher road for her. So again, I'm hoping all our listeners understand this. Take us into this new release that you're having come out. Tell us a little bit about where the vision came from, if you can.
Sure. So Mirror, I liken it to a psychological thriller. Kind of a Lynchian concept of a song going into that little black box inside you and finding your shadow self. So in the song, the introduction is kind of like a little girl in a bedroom or something very innocent and primal, and kind of accessing that inner child and also the shadow and finding a way to integrate it into who you are, to feel like you can accept yourself as a whole person with all of your flaws and your light and darkness, and embrace the fullness of who you are.
And that is so important for today. Many of us, have refused for a long time to figure out who we are. We've allowed other people to tell us who we are. And then we wake up one morning and we go, like, my life is passing me by and I'm not doing what I want to do. And COVID has given us, I guess, some sort of a rare opportunity to look deep inside ourselves. And I think a lot of us are starting to figure out who we are. Maybe your new music will help us even find ourselves a little bit faster.
Absolutely. I would be honored to help facilitate that for people through my music. And, throughout the song, it kind of takes you on this journey. There's some rhythmic changes and a lot of forward momentum and drive. And towards the end, there's kind of a celebratory, triumphant feeling about the integration and acceptance of the whole self.
Terrific. So once again, tell us where our listeners can find you, and we don't want them to miss out.
Yes, so my website is shelleyvoice.com, SHELLEYVOICE, and they can find me on Facebook at Shelley Thomas Music, on Instagram at Shelley Voice, and also on Spotify. My single Cancer Moon is up there, and Mirror will be out soon. I have a pre-save campaign going, so if they get in touch with me on one of these platforms, I can add them to my mailing list, and they'll receive the information for pre-save on Spotify, or they can just click and follow me as an artist there.
That is wonderful. Well, we want to wish you the best of luck with this new release. We're going to push it out there for you, and when you come up with your next release, let us know, and we will have you back on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You have a wonderful day now. Take care.
All right. Yeah, you too, Ken.
Bye-bye.